So, I wanted to talk about the 5 items that I took to South Africa this year that I wore or used every single day. So I lived there from March to July of 2022. And while I was there, I was hunting, apprenticing, and doing general camp labor for one of the most renowned outfitters in South Africa. So while I was there, I was on my feet all the time. I was getting to do hunts every single day for just over 5 months. And while I was over there, I really picked up on what I needed and what I really didn't for what I was packing and what I was carrying on me. Every single day, I would be away from camp and away from all my gear for typically around 14, 16, sometimes even more hours every single day. And to get started off, one of the most important things for me personally was my footwear, my boots. These are Kenetrek's Safaris. They are very, very aggressive for what I was doing. I wasn't hiking a whole lot of mountains or doing anything like that, but I will say Kenetrek's boots have fit me very, very well for several years now. I haven't switched away from Kenetrek's. I have a lot of their boots. I have a lot of their mountain boots, and these low cuts were perfect for South Africa. Very, very comfortable. Like I said, I was on my feet on the back of a truck in particular for 12 plus hours a day, and I never came back to camp with sore feet or blisters or anything like that. And these boots did really, really well. They held up fine over that long period of time, even in the dry, hot weather, and I really, really like these boots. The other thing I have with them is leather, kind of safari style boot gaiters. They just kind of go over your laces, and these really help to keep out the thorns and the grass seeds and stuff like that out of my boots. It also helped keep ants and all kinds of stuff. Just kept everything nice and clean and tidy. And the other thing is the thorns over there, as you can see how ripped up these gaiters are. The thorns over there are really, really bad, and they will tear through boot laces really quickly. So this kept my boot laces safe and kept them from ripping. And this whole setup was really, really good, and I had no complaints over the course of the year. Next thing that I carried with me every single day, which I used a lot, was my Norden knives, which I do not have with me right now, but I'll plug some pictures in here. But I wore my Norden right in the small of my back, in the backpack here, on my belt, and I used it probably more than any other tool that I brought along with me. The sheath was very, very easy to go in and out. It made it very simple for me to grab it with one hand, put it back with one hand, and I used that blade so much that I ended up sharpening well into the tip and almost rounding it off. Like it was an everyday, very necessary tool for me. And I used it on several hundred animals over this season, as well as just day-to-day chores and tasks, because when you're out in the bush and you're several hours drive away from camp, you work with the tools you have. And that was definitely probably my number one most used tool that I brought all year. And I'll plug in some pictures of pictures and stuff I took with it, but I have no complaints. It kept an edge better than any fixed blade knife I've ever used. It sharpened well, and it was very, very ergonomical. The sheath was incredible, and I really enjoyed it. I really liked using that knife. That being said, I also carried this Outdoor Edge razor light pocket knife in my Bino harness in my chest rig every single day. It was good to have a backup, and this is a very, very good blade for skinning and cleaning animals, and any time you really need a razor sharp knife, I use this one. Had a little pack of blades with me, had some hook blades, stuff like that, and it was just another good backup knife, good tool to have with me. Keeping on the trend of tools that I had on me every single day on my belt, I also carried an old school leather pouch Leatherman. It's just a multi-tool. It's got pliers, wire cutters, it's got a few knife blades, it's got a little saw blade, screwdrivers, can opener. Yeah, this is, it's got a little file on it, I guess, but I use this, again, every single day. It would be clipped to my belt on the side, and this was my main way of fixing anything, and anything that went wrong, this is how I fixed it. I used every single tool on this at some point during the summer, and I mean, I don't have a lot of complaints with it. It's the old design, as you can see. It's very, very beat up, very, very used, and it got me through a lot of pickles. Whether it be cutting electrical fence that was broken, or getting stuff unstuck from the truck, fixing stuff on the truck, fixing clients' gear or my own gear. I mean, all kinds of stuff you can do with a pair of pliers, and especially the wire cutters. I used the small screwdrivers on it quite a bit, and really, really like this. I'll definitely be getting another one soon, because this one's pretty worn out, but I carry this thing every single day while I'm over there. Next thing that might not be thought of as much was my med kit, trauma kit, but most importantly, my tourniquet and bleed stop kit. This is just for when things go really, really bad. I wanted to be prepared to at least have something that I could do to alleviate the situation. And a lot of times you are hours and hours, if not days, away from a legitimate hospital. So anything you can do to minimize the damage done on a hunt, like things go wrong. Riding around in the back of trucks, moving vehicles, very dangerous animals at some points, thorns, snakes, you name it. It was very important to have some decent medical gear with me all the time, especially me being over there so much and working around dangerous animals, working around a lot of firearms. It was very important for me to have some way to hopefully help alleviate a situation if something were to happen. I never ended up using it, fortunately, but it was a good thing to have with me, especially on some of the more dangerous game hunts. I would keep it on my person at all times, but if I didn't have the full medikit with me, I always had the tourniquet either in my pocket or tucked in my Bino harness. Speaking of, that is one of the last things I want to cover is my Bino harness. And this Kuiu harness does everything I ever wanted out of it. Got the rangefinder on the side, got my 12x50 Vortex binoculars in here, got a little wind check. I would keep a chapstick in here, my outdoor edge pocket knife. I also would keep the camera I'm filming with, which is a DJI Osmo Pocket 2. I would use that to do a little bit of cinematography and video clips and get a lot of photos with it and all kinds of stuff. And I kept all of that right here, strapped to my chest at all times. Yeah, this went with me over 200 days this year, probably 250, something like that. And even outside of going to Africa, I used it in Idaho, I used it in Texas. I mean, this thing goes all over the place with me. The last thing I kind of want to cover is clothing. I get a lot of questions from clients about what do I wear, what should I wear, what time of year. is it going to be? Is it going to be cold? Is it going to be hot? Like, what do I need? And the question is, or the answer depends. Most of the time, it's going to be very, very mild to warm weather. I wore shorts every single day, except for maybe half a dozen throughout the entire season. So I was wearing just a pair of canvas kind of shorts. These are made from 511 Tactical, but there's lots of them out there. I recommend browns, tans, green. These are a little bit lighter than I like because they're sun bleached after the summer, but they held up really well. You need to make sure that they're not going to snag because those thorns are like Velcro and they will reach at everything that you have on you. Other thing is good safari style canvas shirts. I really like these ones. These are the ones the company gave me, but there's lots of options out there. I know a lot of the main hunting clothing manufacturers make some style of safari shirt. You just want to make sure that you're not getting a merino or some kind of cotton that's too soft, because that will snag on everything. It's loud. It's going to get ruined over there. And I like these more durable, canvasy, rough kind of fabrics because they kind of just brush the thorns off instead of getting so stuck into them and entwined with like merino wool. Just doesn't work over there. That being said, wearing shorts, I did carry with me typically a hoodie. I used my Kuiu Kenai a lot over there. It wasn't perfect because it did get snagged a lot, but there's a lot of times early in the morning or on the truck that you might just want something to cut the wind down and then take it off right before you get off the truck. The other thing I used a lot was my Kuiu Cordura base camp jacket. I'm gonna go get that. So, like I said, Kuiu Cordura base camp, it held up phenomenally well. I don't think they make this jacket anymore. It might be on their sale page or something like that, but I will say, after being over there several times now, this is definitely the most durable, and in my opinion, it is about the perfect safari style jacket. I mean, it did not snag thorns bad. It brushed them off. When it did get snagged up, it didn't pull out the fabric or anything like that too bad. And overall, I mean, this thing looks practically brand new. It's super strong. It's just warm enough to typically get you through some of those colder mornings and stuff like that. But it's crazy durable. It's very heavy, and it just feels solid. It fit pretty tight on me, so it kept it very close to my skin, so I wasn't getting it all snagged up on stuff. And I really like this jacket. Another jacket, if you're going on the times of year that's going to be a little bit colder, or you're going to somewhere that is notorious for being cold, like the Kuiu in the northern Cape of South Africa, I have a Boerboel, which is a South African brand. I don't know what this is called. I think it's just their parka style jacket, but it was what I used for my warm jacket. It's got a lot of pockets. Again, it's very, very durable fabric, and it was very, very warm. Not a super expensive jacket, but I really liked it, especially on those cold days. I would sometimes wear them both together along with my hoodie when it was really cold, and I never really had a problem. Most people going over there are probably going to be more comfortable in like a khaki style pant or a cargo pant. Again, I recommend don't get the kind of quick drying thin materials. Get more of a rugged, like a Carhartt or a 511 Tactical style pant, because those are going to hold up way better to the thorns and the brush than most of your hunting pants. I've taken most styles of Kuiu some Sitka pants. I've seen First Light pants. All kinds of the really good hunting pants for the U.S. don't last over there very well because they're made out of lightweight materials that aren't made to buck brush like is over there in South Africa. So I definitely don't recommend taking any of your really expensive Kuiu, Sitka, First Light, anything like that. I would definitely recommend investing in some Carhartt or just something more durable than your typical hunting clothes, because I'll tell you, those thorns, they're no joke. I have the scars all over my legs to prove it. And those are kind of the things that I had on me nearly every single day. That's excluding my rifle, of course, and at some times when I was hunting for myself, I also had my bow, so I typically carried around a release just to have with me, to have it close. But yeah, that's the really important things that you need. Good socks are also very important. I used merino wool, like darn tough socks, Kuiu socks, crispy socks. I also used some smart wool, stuff like that. And it was important, but I think I've kind of covered everything that you need for the safari style hunt, especially in a place like South Africa. So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. I consider myself having enough experience to kind of guide a lot of people through what they need to take, what they shouldn't take, what's going to be just left in the camp, and that kind of thing. Don't forget cameras. It's a great experience, and you definitely want to capture as much as you can. And I hope this helps you guys out. If you have any questions, like I said, drop them in the comments below. Thanks for watching.